I thought of something to talk about, but I don't know if you would want to talk about it.
Yeah.
But it's been a bit of a buzzword that I've been interested in.
Yeah.
Is all the AI stuff. Do you know anything about that?
No, not at all. Do you?
Not at all. Well,
Tell me about it.
regretfully, yes, I do know
Okay.
a little bit about it, but
I
I don't want to be like
Yeah.
a dork about it.
I used it to cheat on an exam one time.
Oh, really?
No, just kidding. I'm kidding.
That is probably
I've heard
what's
that's a
gonna
thing. I saw like some YouTube short, which was like a joke about that. No, but
Yeah.
what about the AI?
No, it's just so there's the company OpenAI. It like came out with like ChatGPT and all that stuff, and then their newest model GPT-4 is supposedly like groundbreaking and everything. And he went on Lex Fridman podcast. You know that guy, Lex Fridman?
Yeah, he was
with the suit.
with suits. Yeah.
Yeah. He went on there and talked about it, and I didn't watch all of it because they both talk like they already are AI programs,
Yeah.
and it was pretty boring after a while. But so do you know like the difference between like AI as we currently have, like narrow AI, which is like just basically an algorithm, and artificial general intelligence? You know anything about that?
Is that one the one that will kill us one day?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
AGI, artificial general intelligence, is when AI achieves consciousness.
No
Similar
way.
to a way that
Really?
a human would achieve consciousness.
Is that what they're saying?
Well, they're saying that it shows sparks of AGI, which is a very funny thing to say because I think it was Mark Zuckerberg said that the metaverse is showing sparks of the Matrix. You know, he didn't actually say that.
Yeah.
You delete that.
Okay. Yeah.
But no, it's supposedly showing sparks of AGI, and people are talking about how machines are going to achieve consciousness within the next 5 years or whatever, which I don't think is going to happen. But everyone's there's a lot of people freaking out.
Yeah.
And actually, so Lex Fridman did that episode with Sam Altman. He's the CEO of OpenAI. And then the next episode he did with this guy whose name I don't remember, but he's like a total dork. He wears a fedora. And no, he's like a AI alarmist guy.
Oh, okay.
And he's saying that it should be completely
The
shut
alien,
down.
the AI uprising will happen.
Yes.
Like that. Really, like
yes,
that.
He really believes that.
Wow.
And apparently, judging from the YouTube comments,
Yeah.
a lot of people actually believe that within our lifetimes, AI is going to become sentient and become it's the singularity. That's what they're calling it, and they're gonna take over.
So I don't know nerd virgin terms, but is the singular? No, I'm just kidding. Is the singularity the point at which they match humans?
The singularity is the point at which they no longer need humans to replicate.
Oh, they can build themselves.
Yeah.
But who's gonna grease them up and do all the maintenance? And
Capitalism.
No, I mean are the robots gonna do that?
No, that's why I don't think.
Or are they just gonna use us as slaves at that point?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Ooh.
That's what. No, I don't.
Wait, are you serious?
People actually believe.
Oh,
this.
wow.
Yeah. People actually think that this is gonna happen. So I think what people are worried about is people becoming more and more dependent on AI.
Yeah.
And that eventually they could pull the plug, and since humans would no longer be necessary at that point, since they're fully these computer programs are fully conscious.
Yeah.
They no longer need humans, and so we can just be gotten rid of eventually.
Okay.
That's what people are saying.
Yeah.
So robot technology is so far behind, though. I don't think that's what are they gonna do? They could freeze my bank account, but they're not
robot technology or AI?
What is AI? AI can't do anything to people in the physical world.
Yeah.
That's why I'm a little skeptical.
Well, I was watching this what's it called? This Boston Dynamics video.
Yeah.
With that weird robot. I don't know. It starts with an A, but it walks like a person.
Yeah.
You seen that one?
I've seen Boston Dynamics video. I don't know if I've seen that specific one.
They built one that actually walks like a person, upright, albeit it walks and runs and jumps like a little.
And you know how much that cost? $4 billion.
No, but it walks and runs like it looks like a 5-year-old doing all of this.
Yeah.
So like it kind
It
of
looks like a baby giraffe.
it
a
like
little bit.
it frolics. When,
Yeah.
No, not 4-legged, like standing upright and everything. But it like
But it's a little wobbly.
it is a little wobbly.
Yeah.
Like you could probably kick it over.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
I guess the AI could take control of the drones.
Yeah.
And then take everybody out.
well, actually, it was wobbly, but then it like did this thing where it delivered tools to a guy.
Yeah.
But then after jumping down from the platform, it did like a spiral backflip off of the platform and no, it's for real, and landed this weird spiral backflip off the platform.
Cool.
Right after like waddling like a 5-year-old to get the tools.
Yeah.
But so I don't know. I think they are closer to killing us
Am I
if they
going to
want
block her in with my car? Does she need out?
to. I think you'll be fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
You can edit this out. Or
No,
maybe
it's fine.
Whatever.
Yeah.
This is real. This is real life.
Yeah.
This is cool. But no, so there's like two sides of the whole AI thing. Where there's one side of the people that are the like the futurist guys that think that this is going to be like this is going to change the fabric of society, and we're going to achieve super abundance, and no one's going to have to work, and everything's going to be great.
Are they those? Are they the same as those like capitalism? The
Anarcho-capitalists
No.
guys?
Are they the same as the communism guys who are like, I'm going to have a farm, my own farm?
No, I
Yeah.
think they just. I don't know. I think they just like they don't actually think about living a real day-to-day life.
Yeah.
They're just like, this would be so cool. We wouldn't have
yeah.
to, like, no one. I don't know. I'm talking about this like I know what I'm talking about, but I really don't.
Yeah.
But it does seem like there's a lot of people that think that the AI stuff is gonna like really, really change our world in a lot of dramatic ways. I don't know if I buy into that, because for one thing, the OpenAI guy that went on the Lex Friedman podcast, he is the CEO of the company, so he is he has money to make off of this.
Oh yeah.
But I don't think I agree with either sides of the people saying that we're going to achieve utopia or dystopia.
Yeah.
I don't think either one is really. I think AI is probably going to. I think it's probably coding jobs. I think are probably going to be gone in like 10 years. Like no one's going to be a computer coder
No one will
because
write.
AI can write its own code.
And no one will be needed to write listicles anymore.
Yeah.
Most of the Twitter jobs are gone.
Hopefully.
Oh
Yeah.
no, that's horrible.
It is kind of funny that all the. Do you remember when all the the people that got laid off from their like Vice and BuzzFeed jobs, and everyone was saying
learn to code. Yeah, because there's what are they saying? There's no jobs for all these people in Appalachia or whatever.
Yeah,
learn to code.
And learn to code. Yeah. All the coal miners that got laid off. Now there's no jobs. Well, you just learn to code.
Yeah.
I think the actual solution is probably learn to weld. I think. Because, like, humans can do such complex things, like, physically compared to, like, machines.
Yeah.
So, like, construction jobs and, like, trades are probably going to be, like...
one of the things that robots probably can't do very well, though?
What?
Because I think a robot could probably assemble a building. I've seen, like, a 3D printed little
probably
mud hut. Yeah. But those weird, like, if people still want jobs... Right, and all the jobs are automated. You could always pick the old profession. You know what I mean? Like
the oldest.
Yeah, all those weird. Like you've seen those weird sex dolls.
Yeah,
those are weird. They're weird.
What if it was an actual human? Is that what you're saying?
I'm just saying. I'm saying no one's gonna take that. You can't replace that with a robot. That's weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's funny you bring that up because I don't think that we're headed for a Skynet. Terminator dystopia world from AI, but I do think that the problems that that men are having with pornography and like not actually being able to go out and have a real relationship, I think those are only going to get worse.
Oh yeah,
because like you could have probably sometime in the next couple of years, there's going to be like programs where you can have a virtual AI girlfriend who looks completely real.
Oh yeah,
and
you're
can
right.
look like whatever you want, and will say whatever you want, have whatever personality traits you want.
Mm-hmm.
So like, we're gonna it's gonna be like Japan, because like all the young men are just gonna stay home and
Wasn't that Blade Runner?
Yeah.
The new one?
The new one? I haven't seen the new one. But in the original Blade Runner, they had, like, sex robots.
Oh. Yeah, well, you know what feels even sadder?
Well, they were androids that were fully conscious. Anyway.
Well, what feels even sadder is because, like, initially we would go, ew, it's like sex robots. That feels messed up. Which, yeah.
It is.
But then also, I mean, they probably wouldn't just... I guarantee most of the time they spend with that robot wouldn't be having sex with it. They'd be like...
True, yeah.
It'd be like, I just want company. You know, I just want to watch TV with someone.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, which feels worse to me. You know.
No, it definitely is because, like in a real relationship, like the sex is only like a various.
Yeah.
It's like one component of it. It's not
just like 3 minutes of the whole thing.
It's only like, the sex is only like 3 minutes per day of the situation. There's so much more important things than that.
Yeah.
No, but the futurist guys, and there's also people saying that once AI becomes so advanced, we can merge with AI and upload our neurons to the hard drive or to the program and live in a virtual world.
Yeah, and
never die.
But see, that's not us though.
No.
That's
for one thing, it's never like that's. Yeah. That's not like the human brain. I don't think we're anywhere close to.
Well, what's super interesting about this too, right?
Replicating that, but
when they talk about AI and they say everyone's going to be, or the AIs will become conscious. What does that even mean?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, cause
consciousness is very hard to.
It is incredibly hard to define.
Because, like, is an ant conscious?
Yeah.
Probably. But, like.
In an ant kind of way.
Yeah.
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 So, I mean, I don't know. And I guess it's like, does something have to be alive to be conscious?
Yeah. And what does it even mean to be alive?
Exactly.
I think the philosophical. There are some interesting like philosophical questions about this.
Yeah.
Have you ever heard of John Lennox?
Is he the guy who made the computers?
No.
Oh, no.
The Linux computers?
That was a real question.
No.
Yeah. He's not that guy from the Beatles, is he?
No. No, he is from I think he's from Wales, but he's a mathematics professor at either Oxford or Cambridge. And he's like a theist. He's like an apologist, a Christian apologist, and he actually studied under C.S. Lewis.
Oh, really?
Yeah. He's very old now, but he debated Richard Dawkins and a bunch of the other atheist apologists and everything. But he wrote a book about AI called 2084.
He's still alive?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's very old.
Yeah.
But 2084, like a play on 1984, about like the philosophical problems of AI. I haven't read it yet, but I saw him do a interview where he summarized a bit of it, and it was very interesting. Mm-hmm. He talks about the fact that we already have like the algorithms and that kind of stuff that's being used in China for surveillance and facial recognition. Like that's already bad enough. Mm-hmm. Like that's already a pretty negative thing with AI. But anyway,
does he use like mathematics and whatnot?
No, not really.
No, I was going to say like for his like apologetic stuff. No. He doesn't use math.
No.
What does he kind of lean with?
Is
logic, just mere Christianity kind of logic.
So one of the things that I've heard him say, he does have a lot of the C.S. Lewis
talking points.
Yeah. Honestly, the best thing to do is just listen to him talk because I'm not going to be able.
No, I want to hear you say it. Yeah.
Okay. And one of the things that he says is that it's weird. It would be very weird to live in a world where people are hungry if there wasn't any food. So it's weird that we have this innate desire to find meaning and fulfillment if there truly is no meaning and fulfillment in the world.
Yeah, that's...
There are obviously arguments against that from the atheist perspective, but that's one of the arguments he makes. And he makes the other, like the cosmological and the teleological argument and all that stuff.
That is like a C.S. Lewis thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But I think the apologetics stuff can only go so far because... like, at the end of the day, somebody who doesn't want to be convinced will not, there's no logic that's going to convince them of anything.
Mm-hmm.
But back to the super interesting AI stuff.
Was it?
No, sorry, go ahead.
No, I was actually curious. Did you find that weird, looking back? Do you not want me to talk about that?
About what?
I guess college.
No.
We don't have to name anything.
We can talk about it.
We were in college together. Yeah, was that weird? Like, that was the main emphasis. Was like
the logic of it.
Well, it was essentially like, so we were in Bible college.
Yeah.
Very conservative, kind of traditional. Right?
Wesleyan, Armenian, evangelical, whatever.
You want me to just say the denomination?
It's not. There's no denomination.
There's no denomination.
No.
It's
non-denominational.
Yeah. Well, not really.
Yeah, it is. No, it is.
You have to go to like a Wesleyan kind of church, though. You don't?
No.
Really?
Yeah. There's been I've known Baptists that went there.
Yeah, but that's different.
Yeah, but
like you wouldn't be able to be Catholic going there.
You could. There's nothing stopping you from going there. You would just not agree with most of what they say.
Yeah. Anywho, what's weird is like looking back, that was the main emphasis was essentially you had to like, you had to convince people logically that the Bible's true.
Yeah.
And then you basically had to like sell Jesus to them, which is I don't know. What do you think?
Well, so that comes from the Lee Strobel type Case for Christ stuff, where basically he takes the route that Christianity is provable, as in you could find evidence to support the claims that Christianity makes. So it's their whole shtick is starting on the presupposition that in order for anything physical in the world to exist, it has to have a starting point. That's like where they start from. Is everything has a starting point at some point.
Yeah.
And if everything in the universe has a starting point, where did the universe start? And that it only makes sense that there would be a being whose existence is justified by its own existence, which would be an all-powerful, omnipotent creator. Yeah. That's like the argument they start from. And then, so if there's an all-powerful, omnipotent creator, how do we know that we're following the right one?
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of different religions out there, and so they go from the resurrection of Christ. If Jesus Christ truly was resurrected from the dead, then we can believe the claims he made about himself, which is that he is the Son of God. In which case, we can believe that the Bible is true. And so they go through the different evidence for the resurrection of Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
That's the whole apologetics route.
I feel like it works really well for atheists, maybe, or for someone who, well, if they don't want to believe it, then it wouldn't work. But for someone who
an agnostic, someone who's
an agnostic,
yeah,
it works really. Okay, this sounds bad. This is going to sound really bad, but it is somewhat contingent on a person's ignorance a little bit, to where they haven't, like, they're a little undecided.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, if they haven't thought about it that much.
Yeah, but does it feel like not too necessary to do any of that, really?
No, I think it's
like for most people, because I don't think it's.
So, are you saying that like the majority of people, that stuff isn't going to matter to them?
Not really. I guess what I'm trying to say is, it feels like that was the main push. Was like, oh, people will only be convinced if you give out this whole thing, and I feel like it kind of neglects the idea that what it presupposes is that like everybody likes their situation that they're in, and that they don't want anything beyond them.
I don't know. So I think the problem with like saying that like the logic of Christianity doesn't matter. It's like, is what you're saying that if somebody really wants to believe, or if somebody is drawn to Christianity, they'll believe whether they have all the evidence or not? Is that kind of what you're saying?
I think it'll be more like, I might not understand this thing, but I'll like put it on the shelf here, and I'll just kind of trust. That's how they're entering into it. So like,
and you think that's that's what you should do, or do you think that's just what the majority of people would do?
I think that's what the majority of people would do.
Okay.
I don't think
That's fair.
but I don't think like the sort of like Lee Strobel kind of approach is necessarily going to be super relevant for most people.
Yeah, I guess that's fair as far as like relevance to most people. I think the argument I would make is that like, are you familiar with like any of Sam Harris's arguments against like religion? Mm-hmm. His whole thing is basically like it's kind of a little bit contingent on like cultural relativism, but it's like no one, like, your faith isn't any better than a Muslim's faith just because you have faith in Jesus. Like, they still have as much faith as you do. They're just having faith in something else. So, like, I think the value in the apologetics and the logic of Christianity is more in the distinction of, like, this is actually something worth believing in. Mm. It's not just that this is something that could help you live a better life. Because there's lots of things that you can do that will help you live a better life. But with the apologetics and the ability to kind of, to some extent, prove Christianity, I think that is kind of important to establish, like, why it's valuable.
Yeah. Well, I don't... It's not that I think that there's no place for that. It's more so...
The average person isn't going to care.
Well, most people aren't going to care. So, like, anytime I hear, like, an Answers in Genesis kind of thing, no one... You're not going to hear, like, a geologist. It's like, whoa, my whole life is wrong. There aren't any geologists. That's not me saying that, like, the people at Answers in Genesis are dumb, because they're not. But it's like, you're just preaching to the choir.
Yeah.
You know? So I don't know.
It's kind of like a God's Not Dead thing, where it's like for people to say, yeah.
Yeah, no.
We're right.
Exactly. Or
told you so.
I've experienced this in my own life where, like, people will just kind of throw out, like, how they'll throw out, like, Answers in Genesis talking points. Mm-hmm. You know, and kind of say sort of contemptuously how, like, oh, those atheists are stupid. Yeah. But it's like, you don't... Some of them have a good point. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah. I agree. So I do believe in the Bible, and I believe in, like, God and Christianity and the God of the Bible. But I don't think that... Like, I'm not going to say that atheists are atheists because they're ignorant. Yeah. Like, that's a very self-important...
It is.
Like, there's a lot of hubris.
That's basically what we grew up with, though.
It is kind of, but that's not like a core doctrine or anything. Like,
no.
I want to say that, like...
It's a cultural thing, though.
It is kind of a culture of the churches we grew up in. Like, I don't know. I can't think of a good example off the top of my head, but people do tend to just dismiss these arguments rather than, like, engage with them.
Yeah. Well, like, I don't know. I kind of grew up with, like, people would just kind of take, like, they'd hear a thing and then they would just kind of take it. Yeah. And they wouldn't even say anything. Like, I remember saying to this was family, not immediate family, but just extended family one time. I ended up saying, the idea... They said something about the rapture. You know the rapture? Yeah. I said something like, the idea of the rapture is not actually in the Bible. That's not like that was something that was made up in I think it's the Schofield Bible. it was just a made up thing. That's not what that meant in that verse. And then I said
about like the idea that like all the Christians are going to disappear.
Yeah, the Left Behind version of the rapture. That's not a thing.
No.
But they go, yeah, it is. I go, they're like, it's in the Bible. I go, yeah, but like not really.
Yeah.
That's not what it says. They go, yeah, it's in the Bible. And like that's the extent of their sort of reasoning with me. And then if I were to try to like venture out and explore it at all, it's kind of it's skeptical.
Yeah,
you know, or it's like
I think what it is people basing their worldview more on what they've grown up with rather than like what the conclusions that they've come to, whether it's through reading the Bible or whatever else. Because like the kind of people that you're talking about, like for the most part, they're gonna cling on to whatever supports their worldview, and they're going to dismiss whatever doesn't support their worldview, even if that is coming from the Bible, even if there's like something that kind of challenges their worldview in a way. Yeah. But you can come up with like scripture to back it up. They're still going to dismiss it.
Yeah. Well, like one time I said to a friend within this culture, I said one time, Pentecost in the New Testament. Pentecost is a reversal of Babel, which is why everybody's filled with the Spirit, and then which the Spirit representing God is coming back or descending on them, like what happened in Babel.
Yeah,
he came down, and then everyone's speaking in all these languages, but it's like initiating sort of like, you guys, all the nations, quote, because after that God picked Israel, so all the nations are going and dispersing. This is sort of like, okay, now we're reclaiming.
Yeah, now we're taking back all the
exactly.
nations.
Yeah. So like that's.
I never thought of that, but that is an interesting point.
If you read it like typologically, so in like you read it, if you read the entire thing, because we always look at like just one verse and focus on the one verse, but if you read the story all the way through, like if you were to read it in a year, you'd probably see that. You know what I mean? But I said that to someone at the college we went to, and they go, I don't know. And it's like, no, you're just saying that because you've never heard of it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's, Yeah,
that's very true. I definitely think, so the kind of movement that we're talking about, just for a little bit of context, is like the conservative holiness movement, which places a lot of emphasis on outward holiness and like dressing a certain way and, acting a certain way.
Yeah.
And I think that leads to a lot of like holding on to tradition for tradition's sake.
But it's kind of an arbitrary tradition because it's just it's just McCarthy era, America basically.
Well,
is that wrong?
It's no. I would disagree with that.
Okay.
It is a little bit arbitrary, but it more so comes from like turn of the like 18 to 19. Century, like late 1800s.
Oh yeah,
early 1900s.
Yeah, that's right.
was about when the movement started, and a lot of those people were actually like kind of progressives at that time.
Yeah,
and a lot of Christians were progressives around the turn of the century, and they were like big into like prohibition of alcohol and stuff like that. But
which everyone used to use for communion. Do you know that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Everyone
did.
Not just Catholics.
Not just Catholics. Yeah.
Yeah.
But you're saying.
Well, it used to be all just Catholic.
What?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's true. We used to all just be
But
we used to be monkeys too. No, just kidding. You ever seen that South Park clip where it's Mr. Garrison's talking about like evolution, and he goes like, and then this little dumb frog thing had butt sex with this little fish, and they had a little gay retard baby, and then this, it's just like it's the most absurd. Yeah.
No, I haven't seen that. I've never watched South Park actually. I've seen like the clips, but
yeah. You know what I kind of hate. I hate that I have this like, and you're kind of like this too. We have this weird personality to where it's like I want to talk about Bible stuff.
Yeah.
Because that's really politics. I hate politics.
Yeah.
I hate cultural issues.
Sorry to interrupt. I do like talking about political theory.
Yeah.
But that's abstract and like
the more philosophical.
Yeah.
No, that's fine.
Sorry, go ahead.
That's fine. Well, yeah. So it's like I have these interests, but like,
oh my word, that sounded so pretentious, didn't it?
no, you're fine. You're
Go
fine.
ahead.
You're fine. No, so like, I want to talk like Bible and like ancient history and this and that. I love all that stuff. That's like the stuff that I'm actually like passionate about. That's the stuff that I can actually talk about without being like, you know what I'm saying? But I still have that issue where I'll like make horrible jokes. You know what I mean? And it just feels kind of wrong.
You still have the tendency to go. You remember in Rick and Morty season 2 episode 3 when it, you know,
was that season 2 episode 3? That wasn't the Get Swifty one, was it?
I have no idea.
Yeah.
I don't watch Rick and Morty.
Okay.
That was a Reddit moment show that I picked.
Yeah.
It was a certified Reddit moment.
Yeah, it's weird because like I don't think I could ever really do like a here's our Bible study. I'm be such a terrible like role model.
Yeah. No, we're not. I think, and we talked about this a little bit before. The whole reason we want to do a podcast, at least for me, is just to like talk about stuff that I've kind of been thinking about and just have a little bit of an outlet for that. But the reason why, like, I don't know, I'm a little self-conscious about it.
Yeah.
Is it's very like self-important to be
bit.
Like my opinions and thoughts are so goated with the sauce that everyone needs to hear.
Yeah.
The whole internet, they should be published for everyone to.
So long as you're self-aware. Then
yeah, exactly. So long as you use meta-irony, it's okay.
Yeah. But what were we talking?
Can you believe? Oh, can't believe we have a podcast.
No, don't you? Oh my word! I hate when people take that tone where they go, where it's like they have this weird, dopey, like big smile.
Yeah.
And they're like, hey everybody.
I guess we're doing a podcast now.
I hate that. It just feels condescending to me.
Not another podcast. You shouldn't listen to this.
Yeah.
Everyone, stop listening to this podcast.
Mm.
Everybody that's listening, all the people, all the hundreds of people, all the thousands of people that are listening to my podcast, just don't even listen anymore. You shouldn't even listen to this.
I hate it. I wouldn't know though because I don't listen to podcasts.
Really?
Yeah, not really. I'm more of a book guy. You know what I'm saying? No, okay. I actually do feel bad about that because I was hanging out with my friend Joseph the other day. Yeah.
Oh shoot.
I'll bleep the last name, but yeah. No, I'll plug his YouTube. He'll like that.
Oh, he has YouTube?
Yeah.
I'll have to look at that.
Yeah, but I was hanging out.
He could be a guest on the podcast.
Yeah. So I was hanging out with him the other day, and we were just like scrolling through HBO Max or whatever. Yeah. And I was like, "Oh, have you seen this movie?" And he goes, "Yeah, I've seen that movie." And I go, "Is it good?" And so he's seen like all the movies that I'd want to watch, like the stuff you watch.
Yeah.
Like all these movies and shows, and he has a life. He's a normal guy.
Yeah.
And I was like, "Dang, I haven't seen anything." And this isn't. And
I have that sometimes too.
Yeah, where I feel kind of bad because I don't like watch a lot of movies. We'll watch TV.
You know where I think that comes from? I think that comes from YouTube and like, did you ever watch like the Watch Mojo top 10 lists?
Yeah.
When I was like 12 or 13, that was like all I watched on YouTube for a while, and it would be like top 10 best movies that you have to see before you die.
Yeah.
And there would be like 30 different videos of all top 10 lists of movies that you have to see. And I think that kind of like gave me the expectation that I would like at some point in my life watch all of the good movies.
Yeah. Well, I kind of want to do that. I
do want to do that,
I feel culturally illiterate is what it is.
Yeah.
And I feel bad because the reason why I haven't seen anything is because I don't prioritize it.
Yeah.
And when I jokingly say like, "Oh, I don't watch whatever, listen to podcasts, I read books." Like that's true.
Yeah.
But I feel bad like mentioning that because it makes me feel like pretentious.
Yeah.
Or no, it makes me sound pretentious. You know what I mean?
No. So the thing is, that only sounds pretentious because people are dumb and don't read anymore. Like, no. That probably sounds really pretentious. But no, I think reading like used to be much more like normal to do. And now it's like
that's a pet peeve of mine.
Yeah.
It is because like I'll see videos like I saw this video by some chick where she was like, "How I read nearly." Well, why are you laughing? Is it because I said chick? No.
I saw this video by some dumb whore.
No.
on
Okay.
YouTube.
Well.
Sorry. Go ahead.
Hear me out.
I didn't want to.
Hear me out. It was some lady. Some lady. She was It was this video where she was like, "How I read nearly 400 books in a year," and I go, 400. I want to be able to do that. That's cool. And I have time to listen to books at work.
Yeah.
You know. So I'm like, that's cool. I want to be able to do that. And then she's like, so, step one, make sure you read what you like. And I go, yeah, that makes sense. Don't like push yourself through a book because you just won't read in general. You'll hate it.
Yeah.
And she goes, for me, my favorite genre is romance. And then I go, ew, I don't want to hear about your porn addiction. And what's funny is like,
I read a book every day. Don't ask what genre it is, but I read one new book every day.
No, but it's funny. It's weird because you'll see videos like that where people are like, "Oh,
I read a picture book every day." My favorite. Sorry.
No. You'll see videos by people where they go, "Oh, how I read 150 books last year, or 200."
It's the Tai Lopez thing.
Is it? Yeah. Well,
of bragging about it.
What sucks is because like I do numbers like that, so like I read that much.
Good.
But
good for you.
Well, I'm not trying to.
I'm happy for you.
I'm using.
That's Josh. I'm trying to.
No, I'm using it as an example. But like, and what's weird is like, I don't say anything about it because I almost feel embarrassed about it because I don't feel like my intellect matches the amount of books.
I think we're at a point like culturally
where
like just by saying that you read books, that's kind of like you saying that I'm smarter than you, and no one likes to hear that someone else is smarter than them.
That's what it feels like people are doing though when they say like they're like, oh, I read 200 books last year, and usually you look at the books they're reading, they're like dumb like Target books, stuff you'd find at Target or at the airport. And
also, there's how much of that are you really absorbing? If you're reading a new book every day, like you can't be absorbing that much information. I don't know.
That's true, but also like, well, I kind of do that too.
Yeah.
So, but the way if I want to learn a topic, I won't just. I've heard people say like, oh, you can. I didn't absorb all the material. I didn't digest it or whatever. It's very minimal difference. It's a very slight difference.
Yeah.
If you actually if you're taking it slow or going fast.
It's not like you're going to be tested on something.
No, it's a slight difference. So what you want to do is like take notes if you can, or just like I'll bookmark stuff and I'll write notes. But
do you mostly read physical books or do you do audio books?
It's mostly audio, because it's mostly.
It's hard to find time to sit down with an actual book, at least for me.
Yeah, it's just I listen to stuff at work.
Yeah.
But, people. It's weird because what they'll do is like they'll make these videos and they'll say, "Oh, I read 400, a million books last year."
Yeah.
But it's all like YA books.
Oh, yeah. I haven't seen those videos, but I believe it.
Yeah, it's all like YA books. They're like dumb.
It's all dumb slut books.
Yeah, no, and the reason why it's annoying is because like the only reason why they're making this video saying how many books they read, and the only reason why they value reading the way that they do is because they think that it makes them look smart.
Yeah.
But like.
Whereas you value it because. Why do you value reading books?
It's just something to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, really. It's just something to do, and then I convince myself that I'm wasting time if I listen to music. That's the only reason why.
You should listen to music.
I do.
I think music has some value.
I'd say it like that, but I meant like all day. Because I work a pretty normal manual labor job.
Yeah.
So if I were to listen to music for like more than an hour, I'd feel kind of like But yeah, it's weird because it almost feels like with videos like that, they're like siphoning clout, like big brain clout from people who actually read like hard books.
Yeah.
And then they're like, "Oh, I read my pornography. Praise me, internet."
Yeah.
I don't know.
Did you know that 50 Shades of Grey is just 100% a Twilight ripoff?
Yeah, I've actually heard that.
Yeah.
My sister told me that.
No, it's like a proven. That's like a fact.
Yeah.
It was a fanfic.
Really?
Of Twilight, yeah.
There was this one movie that was like, was it called After?
I don't know.
It was a book. It was based off of like a fan fiction about Harry Styles.
Really?
Yeah, but this was before he was wearing the dress.
Okay.
So I don't know if that'd be how it would be now. You're right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're good.
Yeah. not to kind of backtrack a little bit, but we were talking about college, Christianity.
Yeah.
I'm done talking about erotica.
Literotica.
Yeah, I don't.
We can move on from that.
Yeah.
We could go back to AI.
Yeah.
That's an interesting topic. I nobody that I know in real life actually actually cares about AI. So
I wonder
I'm
if it's just like bots on the internet who are like, yeah.
Probably so.
Yeah,
probably so. No, it's probably honestly it could definitely be a psyop.
It's just like the agent provocateur kind of a thing.
Yeah.
Well, people are that. I don't want to just say people vaguely, but we're so susceptible to stuff like that I feel like. Well, it seems like the whole internet is for these.
I know.
I mean, it was that easy for like China to manipulate TikTok to now everybody thinks they're autistic or whatever, you know,
or have like
Tourette's or something.
Mental,
Like, which if I don't know, how do you feel about that?
Feel about what, like specifically, like that the mental illness stuff.
I don't know.
No, I hate the self-diagnosing stuff.
Yeah, that's
like
weird.
You shouldn't probably do that. And I think ADHD is probably a little bit overdiagnosed. I don't know.
Yeah.
I haven't looked at any studies.
I saw a Jordan Peterson thumbnail, so I think I agree with you.
I saw that exact thumbnail. It's hilarious, and I wasn't going to bring it up, but you know.
Yeah. We get all of our opinions from Jordan Peterson thumbnails.
Yeah. Don't even watch the video. Yeah. No, the AI stuff is, I think there is something there. Like, I think it is going to change some things, but I think it's just going to, like, generally increase the current dependence on technology that we have. Yeah. And, like, I think it's just going to increase the problems we already have. Yeah. I don't think it's going to change that much, like, drastically. Like, there will be people that lose work because of AI and, like, like, I think eventually any, like, desk job or any of the, like, work from home jobs are probably going to be done by AI. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't know how long it's going to take, but probably in, like, 20 years or so. Yeah. They're probably all going to be gone. Oh. But I don't know. I think they call it creative destruction.
Is that
the term where, like, new technology destroys an old industry, but then that produces new industries and stuff like that? It's like, because people have been saying that they took our jobs. People have been saying that since, like, the railroads. Yeah. Well, probably before then, but, like, since the Industrial Revolution.
It is weird that now, like, the next people to say that are going to be like, they took our jobs. They need to stop.
They took our jobs.
Yeah.
They're going to be like, which most of the people that are going to lose their jobs to AI don't care about. Like, graphic design is going to completely go away because of AI. Yeah. And, like, I don't care. Like,
yeah. Why?
Learn how to do something useful.
I think graphic design is kind of cool.
But the thing is, anybody's going to be able to do it now. Because there's just going to be a program where you say, I want a logo for my landscape company.
Okay, the guy, you won't have to hire someone.
Yeah. That's not going to be a career anymore.
Okay, yeah.
I don't know. That's kind of mean to say, like, I don't care, but, like, I think the jobs that are really contributing to society are all probably going to stay.
Like stuff we do, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Our jobs, totally.
Like, I think my job is probably safe for a while. I don't know. Hopefully. I don't know.
I know probably you're probably going to be good.
Yeah,
because everybody will definitely need,
like, even
historians to take them on tours and stuff.
For sure.
That's your job.
Yeah. People are always going to need the double-decker bus tour guides to take them through downtown Manhattan.
To go bother celebrities outside their houses.
Sorry, I have one last thing I wanted to say about AI.
Yeah, go for it.
Because I mentioned, like, the futurism stuff where, like, AI is going to replace, like, all of the menial labor and, like, no human is going to have to work. Yeah. And then, like, people are going to be happy. Like, that's what, like, Lex Friedman believes. Yeah. And that's just really funny to me because or, like, the transhumanists that we're going to become cyborgs or we're going to upload into a computer program. Yeah. It's like, we haven't figured out how to, like, live as humans. Yeah. Like, why would we want to become transhuman at this point when, like material... The Marxists do this, too, where, like, they assume that, like, once a person's, like, material needs are met,
then I can
everything is
time
perfect.
to art and stuff.
Yeah,
like then we can create.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, for one thing, limitation breeds creativity.
Yeah.
Like, if you have nothing to do but create art, your art probably isn't going to be very good.
Yeah.
Like, if you have no limitations, like, the only thing limiting you is your imagination.
Like, Picasso got worse later on in life.
Yeah.
You know that?
I didn't know that, but I'm agreeing with you.
Yeah, when he was younger, it was better.
Are you talking about, like, you just don't like his later work, or are you think
it's a consensus? It's a consensus. This is like a... Yeah.
I don't know. I just think that, like...
This isn't my opinion. I'm just saying what I've heard. I just heard it on a podcast. But, there's someone on a podcast said it.
But yeah, the whole, like... I don't know. It's just so dumb to assume that if like Dostoevsky said this, I think, whereas like if the only thing humans had to do was to eat bread and busy themselves with the continuation of the human race, then they would tear it all down. Didn't you say that?
To do. Yeah.
It's like I think this is going to sound very Jordan Peterson-esque.
I don't know who that is,
but.
Oh, is he the guy who's kind of like an old Andrew Tate?
Yes.
Yeah.
He's an alpha male, and he's really cool.
Yeah.
No, I think struggle does matter for people. Like I think
that doesn't sound like Jordan Peterson.
Especially for men though. Like I think like I try to think about like how I would live in a society where everything was 100. Like we had like UBI, we had like universal basic income. All my needs were met. My family was provided for through AI or through the government or whatever. It's like so what do I do? It's like what good am I if I don't have to do anything for my family to be provided for and for my needs to be met? Like, what do I do?
It's almost like the highest for men, where the suicide rate is the highest. It might be when they're young too, but like it's really high when they're older, like when their kids are gone. Yeah. Because they're like, okay, what's my role now? Yeah. You know, but
yeah, I don't know. I just think for one thing, AI is like a buzzword now, and I think it's probably a little bit overhyped.
Yeah, title this AI.
Yeah, we should definitely make a clickbait title about AI.
The robot apocalypse is coming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I think there's two sides to every story, but the truth often lies somewhere in the middle.
Oh my! I hate that. I hate that so much. All right, I really hate. I hate when people do that because, like, okay, I'm glad you brought that up because I really wanted to talk about that. I thought about this earlier. When people, oh my goodness. So, and I'm not like partisan necessarily. I'm not a partisan. I just don't like Democrats or the Democratic Party. Democrats are fine people or whatever. I don't like the Democratic Party, but I'm not like. I don't care about... You're
a libertarian.
I'm not a libertarian.
You're an anarcho...
I know, I'm not. I'm actually... I don't know where to...
You want gay people to protect their weed and land with guns.
No. I don't know how to place myself politically. I just, like... I'm more anti-establishment, really.
Yeah.
So, like, I don't like the DNC. That's my main thing. Which isn't a great way to define yourself.
Yeah.
But... whatever. But what I was going to say is...
I think both... Sorry to interrupt, but I think both parties are generally, like, lean authoritarian, which I think is
I think the truth is probably found somewhere in the middle. No, I hate when people do that, because it's like... What they'll do is they'll act like... Opinions are not a spectrum.
No.
Opinions are just opinions.
Yeah.
It's like... It's not like a spectrum of stuff where you occupy some place on the bar. It's just multiple people with different opinions of different groups. So, like, when people go... People act like, they act like it's a spectrum. And then when they say they're somewhere in the middle, they act like they therefore transcend the whole system, which is the most pretentious thing to ever even think.
It's like because you don't really agree, which this is kind of an atheist argument, is like you're like, well, there's so many different religions and ways of life. Who are you to say that you have the right one? It's like, well, who are you to say that I don't have the right one?
Yeah.
It's like...
Yeah. Well, it's also like the atheists will do that. Where, like, I took this. I told you I was going back to college.
Yeah.
I took this
to the conservative.
No. It's online. I'm doing not
They
there.
do online classes.
No, not there. I'm taking University of Maine.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
And
Cool.
then Harvard, hopefully, if I get in. But I'm going to study women's studies. No, I want to get like anthropology
Okay.
from them. But okay, so what was I saying? Yeah, so I took this religion course.
Mm-hmm.
It was Introduction to Studying Religion or whatever like that. Super annoying because the professors, like, they assumed that, oh, why, this is what the reason, this is actually what he said. Why is it better to take a scientific approach when studying religion? Well, he said, well, does a fish know that he's in water? And it's like, okay, just take out your dumb analogy, right? If I, not being Mormon, I can maybe evaluate, I won't be as biased when I evaluate the claims of Joseph Smith.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean I know what it's like to be Mormon.
Yeah.
It'll never, you know what I mean? And in order to like understand somebody's perspective, you can't like, there's some like philosophy paper or whatever. It's called, you don't know what it's like to be a bat. You ever heard about that? And I think the general idea was like, we don't know what it's like to be animals or like a bat. You only know, if you imagine what it's like to be a bat, you're just imagining your brain and your eyes looking through a bat's body flying around.
Correct.
And stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
So like, I can't imagine what it's like to be Mormon. I can only imagine what it's like to be me being Mormon.
Yeah.
And people, when they do this weird like spectrum game where they're like, oh, I'm somewhere in the middle, they're acting like they just transcend all thought as if they're like God, basically, as if they can see above. It's so pretentious.
Yeah. Well, it is. Yeah. You have to. At some point, you have to accept that the only perspective you will ever really have is your own perspective. Like you can't really like look at things from another person's perspective. You can only see it like how you would see it through their
exactly.
eyes.
Yeah. Which feels like an easy thing. To get. I don't know. Yeah. How do we get on that?
AI.
Yeah, AI. Bible.
Yeah. We could talk about aliens next.
Nah. Actually, we were watching Ancient Aliens.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
It's very funny.
It is really funny.
Entertaining
It's really
show.
funny, but I won't use my wife. I'll just say that instead of names. She was like, she assumed, because she never actually sat down and watched it before.
Yeah.
She just saw me watching it.
Yeah.
And she assumed, this is a very nice assumption for her to have. She assumed because I was watching it, it must be some like intellectual thing.
Yeah.
And
it must be worthwhile.
Yeah. And then, and because she saw, documentary. Okay, it's probably something educational. And then she sat down and watched an episode, and I think it was the episode about the number 12 or whatever, where they're like, they're saying how it's like a magic number or whatever, and it starts out like, what is the number? Like, why did we see 12 reappearing everywhere? They go, there were 12 tribes of Israel. There were 12 disciples. There were 12, and she was like, what is this? Because it's like, those are the same thing. Yeah, but, oh my word. No, she got so frustrated like 20 minutes into it. She's like, I don't want to watch this anymore.
No, it's very funny. Are you familiar with Graham Hancock?
Yeah.
The Ancient Apocalypse?
Yeah. I read Supernatural.
Okay.
By him, I think it's interesting.
It is pretty interesting. Being I have obviously some bias in me, but I think that kind of Ancient Apocalypse stuff is interesting because if you look at it and squint, it almost looks like a global flood or something like that.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Almost looks like there could have been some global catastrophic event that killed almost everybody on Earth, except for like a few people.
Well, that's when the flood. It was the meteor that killed the dinosaurs.
Yeah.
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 I don't know.
No, I don't know. We could go into the Answers in Genesis stuff if you wanted to, but
do you want to?
We can.
I mean, I'm not very good at like kind of BSing my way through stuff. Yeah. That's the
I don't agree with the Answers in Genesis stuff. Like I don't know. I don't think you can say with as much certainty as they say.
Yeah.
That we live on a Earth that's like 7,000 years old. I don't think it's easy to say that.
But then again, like I'm not a scientist, so I always feel bad for like I never
not trusting the science.
Yeah, for not trusting the science. No, I feel bad when I'm like talking about answers in Genesis, because I was at church and I was talking to somebody about it, and I said something like, "Hey, you want to go to the Creation Museum one time?"
Yeah.
And he just goes, "I also want to comment. I still go to church and still a Christian. It's just a different, like, entirely kind of denomination."
Yeah.
But yeah, and it's still traditional. Yeah, but I was like, "Hey, do you want to go to Answers in Genesis or Ark Encounter or whatever?" I've never been.
Really?
I've never been to the Ark.
Never.
Yeah, we should go.
Yeah, we should go.
We should go sometime. I'm like, "You want to go to the Ark?" And then he goes, "No, I'm not giving that place my money." That's
Really?
how the people are. They're not mean, but that guy specifically, he said it kind of with a smile, like, "Oh,
Yeah.
you're joking with me that we'd go," but they really don't.
What background?
They don't entertain. Well, he was Pentecostal first.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but they don't entertain like the because the pastor one time, like, they were talking about, we were doing like a Bible study thing, and one of the people was saying, like, oh, but couldn't the Big Bang be like when God said in the beginning God spoke? Couldn't that be like the Big Bang and there's the light?
Mm-hmm.
And then he goes, maybe. He's like, but the Bible's not a science book. It's So it's like, that's not, and that's the approach they always take. So they think like you're majoring on the minors there. So it's like, it's not a science textbook. And the idea that the Bible should communicate to us contemporary science is like kind of weird.
Yeah.
It's a weird idea. Yeah.
Which that also, I think that partially comes from the idea, which is a very like modern, like post post-industrial revolution idea, or post-enlightenment idea. I mean that like science is a source of truth.
Yeah.
Which I don't know. I think science obviously can tell you like how things happen, but like if like it doesn't tell you why things happen, or like it doesn't really give you any kind of like moral framework for living your actual life, or like I don't know.
Is that your leg?
Yeah, my leg is very long.
Oh my word, you have really long legs.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, but they're stringy. They're not like attractive, like, right? No, I'm just kidding. No. Yeah, no, it doesn't add any kind of framework. It almost feels weird how we treat the Bible, or we treat God, who is like entirely transcendent,
Yes.
Completely unfathomable, completely.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Where our understanding of God is only, Christ is the extent of our understanding of God. Beyond that, we really can't. We can see how God works or what God does, but we really can't understand God. But we try to do that, though.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's almost like what you were saying earlier of like, I think a lot of times we're guilty of trying to look at things through God's eyes.
Yeah.
But we're trying, like, it's us trying to like fit our, like,
yeah.
We're using our minds and our eyeballs to try and look through, like, well, if I was God, what would I do? It's
and like we're basically like, we're imagining like we can literally, we're thinking we can think outside of ourselves.
Yeah.
That's impossible.
Yeah.
You only know that. But this is kind of like a quote. I'm going to misquote this. But G.K. Chesterton said something like, it's like easier to fit.
You're paraphrasing.
I'm paraphrasing. That's the word. I'm paraphrasing Chesterton. It's going to be much easier for you to stick your head into heaven for a second than to stick heaven in your head.
Yeah.
And, so like, if you're talking about things that are transcendent and completely beyond you, it's going to be really, really hard, very ambiguous. You're going to use a lot of symbolism, which is like what the Bible does.
Yes.
Whereas like, I feel like if the Bible were, and I'm not saying it's not literal, but if, like, let's say some of the Answers in Genesis stuff, if our reading of it was just like flat, this is exactly it, I feel like that lessens who God is to an extent to where like we can fit God in our head, and I don't think we can do that.
Yeah.
Because I view, that doesn't mean it's not true, but I view it as like it's true in a way that we can't really comprehend, so we have to use symbolism.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. I think we never explained what Answers in Genesis is.
I feel like those.
I feel like it's kind of self-explanatory.
Is
but
it?
Like, it's basically the idea that
Ken Ham.
Yeah,
Ken Ham.
I know that guy. I met that guy.
I've met that guy a couple of times too.
Really?
Yeah.
No, he
He's a nice
whole
guy.
Thing is, he's a super nice.
He's
guy.
a very nice guy. I also want to say that too.
Well, all of the answers in Genesis
super
people
nice.
that I've ever interacted with are really nice, and they're smart people.
They're very very nice.
The whole thing is that the Earth was created in literal 7-day creation, young Earth.
Yeah.
The Earth is only 6,000 years old.
And
that their main thing is that that matters, because if you take away that, then that kind of undermines the rest of the Bible.
Yeah, well, because the gospel is viewed as a belief in a truth claim. If you take away, if you only pick and choose what's true in the Bible, then that takes away the significance. Which I also like. Anytime I talk about the answers in Genesis topic, or about how reading the Bible and whatnot, I have a lot of respect for people who are, I'd say, dogmatic on it, because what that means is like their faith is better than mine. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which I do have a lot of respect for that, because I almost feel like I'm the one who's broken to have struggled with this my life. You know what I mean?
I don't know. I don't think the Bible ever really
It never says
frames like you're wrong for having doubts.
No, I know.
Or, you know.
Yeah,
I don't know.
it's hard not to feel that though.
Yeah.
When you're 17, and you're like, yeah, but what does that mean? And then you kind of get the whole like, well, it's in there. It's in there. Yeah. But did you ever have that growing up? Have you ever kind of struggled with that?
Struggle with the with questioning the
validity, or
I've struggled with that like recently.
Oh yeah.
With questioning the validity of the Bible.
Yeah.
Yeah, I went through a phase where I started to feel like. So one of the arguments that I've heard like atheist apologists make is the cultural relativism argument, where people only become Christians because they're raised in an area or in a way that allows them to become Christians. And if there was if God was truly just and he was truly revealing himself to us, then he wouldn't reveal himself in a way that only allowed a certain small percentage of people to come to salvation. Mm-hmm. Because like they're like uncontacted tribes in Africa or in Amazon or whatever that will never hear the gospel and blah blah blah. Which I think on that, I think there's pretty strong like biblical support for saying that like God's grace is available to everyone, where no matter where they are, and everyone at some point will be given an opportunity to respond to grace. And if they do respond to that grace, there will be other opportunities to continue to respond to grace. And like, maybe this is like a controversial thing, but I think it's possible that there will be people in heaven that never heard the Bible or never heard, like, they never even knew who Jesus was. I don't want to sound like universalist or whatever, but I think it's possible that if people like truly, respond to whatever grace they're given, that there's an opportunity for everyone to come to salvation. Mm-hmm. But anyway, I went through a phase of like really dissecting what I had always believed in, and like, I don't want to use the word deconstruction because that's like a very like a buzzword. Mm-hmm. But I started, like, I was questioning whether whether I was really believing these things because I thought they were true, or because that's just what I had been taught to believe and what I had always believed. So I did question for a while, and I talked to my dad is a pastor, and so obviously I had been raised to believe that these things about Christianity were a fact. So I started to talk to him about like whether we can really be confident that we're not all just wasting our time. Mm-hmm. And I don't want to get like go into a whole spiel about it, but you know, I think that you can be, at least I can be fairly confident that there is, you know, the God of the Bible is real, and he, you know, Jesus Christ really died and rose from the dead. All that stuff, I think.
Is that why you kind of you'd say? Would you say you kind of value more of that Lee Strobel's Case for Christ kind of stuff?
I think so. Yeah. Because if you're coming from a perspective of not having been raised as a Christian, and you get offered this chance for, like, you go to a church, you hear a message about salvation, and if you have never, you weren't raised as a Christian, this is like a new thing. This is something, and it's like it could be appealing. But if, for me, I was raised in it, it was like something that I was starting to more question the validity of, on like whether I can really put whether or not I'm putting my faith in something worthwhile. Starting to question that. Like, if you've never put your faith in Jesus before, it's not that much of a struggle to put your... Well, it can be a struggle, but it's not going to be... There's not going to be quite as much resistance to you putting your faith in Jesus if you don't already have, like... Sorry, this is not making any sense.
No, you're fine. You're fine.
I'm trying to think how I can rephrase this, because this doesn't sound quite right.
If you've grown up in the church, you already have... If you grew up unchurched, right?
Yeah.
You don't kind of walk around with that question.
No, yeah, exactly.
Not really.
That's a good way of saying it.
Which it is a very... well, you know, honestly, that's kind of a problem I took with Christianity a little bit. Was it... It's sort of like, oh, did you know that there's a problem? Okay, here's a solution for it. But like most people don't even think about that problem. And I'm not saying that's not true, because I believe that, but I feel like how I grew up hearing it was maybe a difference in emphasis. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying, but like I should probably be clear. I always felt weird about this sort of like, oh, you know, if you're not saved, you're going to go to hell.
Yeah.
And then, but like most people aren't like living their life with that in their mind, because they don't think about the idea of like hell. That's like
that's a really good point.
That's something that you only think about if you grow up in church.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And that was another thing that I struggled with a little bit, is because like for as long as I can remember, I was always raised to believe that, you know, you have an eternal soul or whatever, and eventually you're going to go one of two places. You're going to go to heaven or hell. Yeah. So for one thing, which we talked about this a little bit before, but most Christians, their perspective on heaven and hell is like very, very messed up from what the Bible actually says. What was Milton?
They have a
Paradise, or no, not Paradise Lost. Inferno. Dante's Inferno, which is like ridiculous.
Everything we believe is like it's seeped in the 15th century, basically.
Yes, but that's the image of hell that most people have.
Yeah. But even that, honestly, even Dante, I think is better than
the current perception.
You know why? Because Dante, like the gates of hell were locked from the inside. Is that or that's just C.S. Lewis?
I'm not sure who said that, but I have heard that quote before.
For Dante, I think it's like the suffering was more of like almost self-induced.
Yes,
because they wanted to hold on to their sin, which is more biblical than what we have now. Where
people think of it as a God's like sending you to a torture chamber that you can never get out of.
Yeah.
But what the Bible kind of more describes, from my understanding, is it's more of it's like torment, which the distinction between torment and torture matters, because like if you're being tormented, it's
Yeah.
not like you're being like physically like
Yeah.
physically hurt.
You
It's
could
more of
you
like
could call a sleepless night being tormented by your past.
yeah.
That can be torment.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or that kind of thing. Where you,
I think the best way to think of hell is just like a place of eternal regret. I don't know. That's kind of how I think of it.
Yeah. Well, the way I kind of think of hell now is, this is a newer thing, but it's that your life is, you're in hell now, because like in this is even I've heard Tim Mackey even say this before. You know Tim Mackey?
I've heard of him.
Oh yeah, he's even said this before, where he's like, so in the beginning God creates heaven and earth. Okay, then he goes, okay, where does hell come in? What is that?
Yeah.
It never says God creates hell, and his reasoning was God didn't create hell. We create hell on one another. And Christ didn't come to earth in order to keep you from going to hell when you die. He came to, because he cared, his concern was much deeper than that, where he wanted to, his language was, he wanted to get the hell out of you and wanted to like heal you.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
That's that is definitely more of a like your particular denomination.
Yeah.
That's like that's more of a doctrine.
Yeah.
That
but
like
Tim Mackey said it though. He's
Yeah.
you know, he's like a Baptist or something. Yeah.
and Baptists, you know,
Yeah.
really
No,
theologically strong.
No, he's not like a Baptist. He's like he's the Bible Project guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. No, I've heard the name before. I just couldn't remember the specific details.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I don't know. I think people use the term like crisis of faith or like deconstructing.
Yeah.
And I think that's a bad way of putting it, because like if you mean like, if by deconstructing you mean like just thinking about what you believe in, like sure. But if you mean deconstructing by like just like I don't believe that anymore.
Yeah.
Like that's a much more like shallow way of looking at it. Like I feel like most people who say that they're deconstructing are kind of just, I don't want to say like following the trend, but like they're just saying, well, this Christianity stuff seems pretty outdated.
They're just dropping one culture for another.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what it is.
Yeah, that's
you're not
exactly.
deconstructing anything.
No. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I actually thought of when you mentioned how atheists would say, "Oh, you just," or Sam Harris would say, like, you're just that because you grew up Christian.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's like people are gonna show for whatever culture they're born into. Anyways.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Sam Harris, so he had one quote. I'm gonna mess it up, but I'm paraphrasing.
Yeah.
But he said, like the Islamic terrorists that that crashed the planes into the Twin Towers. He said that they weren't insane, and they weren't doing this for any reason other than that they had faith that that's what they were supposed to do. He said they I forget the quote exactly, but it was something about they were men of faith and that's dangerous.
Islam has very little to do with faith.
I know.
We're talking about Sam Harris.
Yeah, we were talking about Sam Harris and how he's Islamophobic.
Yeah, he hates Islam.
Yeah.
I love Islam. I'm a Muslim.
I didn't actually become a Muslim until after Andrew Tate did.
Yeah.
When he became Muslim, I was like, this must have some validity.
I know. I just like the idea of,
I like the idea of having 4 submissive wives that I can divorce anytime I want, but they can't leave.
Did you know that in Islam? Okay, I think this is halal, where you can visit a prostitute in Islam. You can marry her for an hour, because
You can marry her for the night.
for the hour, because adultery's wrong.
Yeah.
Obviously, yeah. But you can marry her for the hour,
And
then just after,
because all you
then
have to do in Islam to get a divorce
then
is
like
say, I divorced.
because like after you bust, you can just say, I no longer
you
want
get that post-nut divorce.
What did I do? You don't have to be married to her anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you can only have 3 wives. You gotta leave one. You gotta leave an extra space for a lady of the night.
Yeah. So it's like,
what about the prostitution? What does she do?
You
though?
marry.
Is that so? Is prostitution legal under Islam? You just have to
No. Prostitution's wrong in Islam. It's wrong. It's illegal.
Yeah.
You just you have to marry her first.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I'm just kidding.
But so does the lady still get stoned or what?
What?
So I'm thinking of the scenario where you're a good Islamic young man.
Yeah.
You're a good young Muslim.
Yeah.
And you go to see a young. Would she be Islamic lady, or would it have to be like a different person of a different religion?
I think it works. I think it works like in Israel, where you can hire Gentiles to do all the stuff for you on the Sabbath.
Yeah.
But
or how in here, where we can hire Jews to run all of the media.
Did you want to cut any of this?
Probably all of it.
Yeah.
I'm thinking.
Yeah, because I don't want to just like say about Islam if I know nothing.
Yeah, I know. We should. Anything we say, you should probably take with a grain of salt. For all of our listener
one. There's one listener. Sam Harris.
Harris.
Mike got disconnected.
So I think what we were talking about is how he doesn't make a distinction between having faith in one religion versus having another. It's all just having faith. Which to the new atheist types, having faith is just blind belief in something for no reason.
Yeah.
I don't think that's a good definition of faith.
Yeah, but it's kind of what they kind of fall into that same trap where they, like what we kind of talked about earlier, where they kind of act like everything's there's all these religions.
Yeah, it's all on one spectrum.
Yeah, and then I can therefore transcend religion, exactly. Which is like, no, you're religious too. That's why I like Emil Durkheim's view of religion. You know, Emil Durkheim, he's like a anthropologist. Yeah. Where his was like, religion was more.
Is he like Jordan Peterson?
Yeah, no, he's like an older Andrew Tate, an older Andrew Tate. No.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, but his whole thing was about like the purpose of religion. I'm gonna butcher this, but that's fine. The purpose of religion is its function and its the way that it bonds and unites people or groups of people. So like a lot of the new atheist people, they would act like religion is like a parasite. Yeah. But it's like but why do we have it then? You know? And Emil Durkheim's thinking is like, I'm butchering this probably, but it's like, its function in that it unites the people together around something. Mm-hmm. And that's what the new atheist type people don't recognize, is how you guys have that too. Yeah. You know? Yeah.
So do you believe that about religion? Do you believe that religion's main purpose is to unite people around one singular cause?
I think it's like...
Because I would say that's true of religion in general.
Yeah.
And obviously I'm biased, but I think that Christianity is kind of is not. I don't think that the sole purpose of Christianity is to unite people around a common goal.
What I would kind of phrase it as is, it's like saying that this is the way I view it. It's like saying like if you're in like a deep kind of contemplative prayer, you're going to the prefrontal cortex will shut down more, and then you'll feel like, oh wow, that was a good experience. Mm-hmm. Or when you're like really in the zone or in some kind of worship service or whatever, that's what's going on. You know, that's not just what it is though. So like you can you're just saying like you're just saying what's happening. That's not what it is though. Yeah. You know what I mean? So I think that like a big part of it is that sort of that communal
worship and
unifying sort of whatever. But
I guess I have more of an individualist like way of looking at Christianity, because the way I see it is like under most other religions at the time, which we talked about this, which didn't get recorded unfortunately, but under most other religions around the time of Christianity, it wasn't like you were having a relationship with God. It was more like God exists or these gods exist,
And you're their slave.
and there are consequences because of that.
Yeah.
Like the world as we know it exists because of these gods, and we just kind of have to deal with that and follow the rules that they give us. Like that.
We're basically ants, and they're like
Kind of. That's kind of that's a very simplified way of putting it, but that's kind of the way that most of those type of religions function during that time. But Christianity.
Oh, there were no crops, therefore Baal is mad at us.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It was more of a cause and effect based thing.
Yeah.
Where like you've got to sacrifice it's works based. It's actions. You perform these actions, and the gods look on you with favor. That's kind of how it was. That's kind of how most religions during the time that Christianity started were formulated, including Judaism to some extent.
I want to throw this in there because I just like the quote, but the idea that a Bronze Age, religion would have a God that loves you is akin to finding a laptop in a pyramid. It's how absurd that concept is in such an archaic kind of world. Yeah.
Yeah, it just doesn't fit in.
And then also even the law, like the laws, like in the Torah, if you look at something like the Code of Hammurabi, it has very little to do with what you do. A lot of it is like, who are you, and then what did you do? You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So like if you did this to a slave, who cares? Whatever. You do this to someone of a lower classes, who cares? Whatever. Whereas if in the Torah, it's like everybody's subject to the same law.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's kind of what I'm getting at a little bit, is that the Christian perspective was kind of the start of the idea of personal responsibility. Like if you were just a part of a tribe, you had your own separate gods that you worshipped, and these other people have their gods that they worship, and you could even have contests between your tribes and your gods and whatever, and one god could win, and that would be bad for your family and tribe if you lost, and you were responsible for protecting the honor of your family and the honor of your god. And I'm doing a really bad job of explaining this, but I've thought about this a little bit. Christianity kind of throws out the tribalist framework where you're responsible under Christianity. You're only responsible for your own actions. You're the only one. You don't get saved because your relatives are saved. Mm-hmm. You're saved because you choose to be saved.
Yeah. And
you choose to follow Jesus. Mm-hmm. And that that's kind of the Enlightenment is kind of based on the Christian ideas of it's the Enlightenment was very much based on
individual rights.
Yes, yeah, exactly. I think I said this before, but even the fact that the idea of individual human rights, like we have in the Constitution, that's a very Christian idea. Yeah.
So because I said earlier that I differ on some part of that.
Yeah.
But the place where I kind of differ on it is there's this thinking in this is a sort of orthodox way of thinking where they would say Christians you're saved together but damned alone. So it's through
interesting.
It's because it's even you're not, and very few people can actually successfully be hermits. You know, where there are monks, but they live with their monk brothers. Yeah. You know what I mean? So the idea that the you definitely need people with you.
Yeah.
And what I would view as like the way I would describe like what hell is, at least on Earth, how that works is, I think of the movie The Whale. You know
I
what I
haven't
mean?
seen it.
Have you seen the trailer?
Yeah, I've seen the trailer.
I think of that where that
Just a big fat guy all by himself.
all by himself.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I was talking to Joseph about that, and he was saying how like you'd think that it'd be a funny movie because it's just a big fat guy eating chicken, but it's really sad.
Yeah.
And he was saying it's just so sad. That's how I view it as hell. Where like
Interesting.
because the what is it?
remember
Just
what
this idea
episode
of
we're
like
talking about.
just you're in isolation. The torment is just you just feel just bad, and you're just in sort of your own consumed by your own hell. That's I think
Yeah.
of that movie. We really need other people in order to not get into that
Yeah, for
groove.
sure.
That's why there's that thinking of like that's why that's why I'm not as much of a because I understand Christianity did lead to like the idea of individual rights.
Yeah.
But that's why I'm not much of a fan necessarily of like individuality is the way to go because I don't really think
that's
that
true.
because it's like that will in an ancient world that would kill you
Yeah.
one, but then also now that you can't be an island to yourself.
Truly
You suffer.
Truly being an individual only leads you to being isolated. And what people usually mean by expressing your individuality is just leaving your current group
For another one.
different group
Yeah.
that might offend your other group, which I
Yeah.
think we mentioned like the idea of that earlier.
Yeah.
But anyway, you want to wrap this up?